Hello everyone, quick update on the channel. Short version, I'm opening a second channel on which I intend to focus more on unscripted videos, things sourced from my streams like the challenge runs, and basically just anything that I might want to make that exists between the spectrum of stream VOD and spending 3 months producing a 90-minute video about an obscure video game. There's a lot of things to make, and not all of them really warrant a full-scale video essay, you know? The first video up there is one where I talk about my thoughts on the new Silent Hill 2 remake because people asked me quite a lot about it, but I didn't think it was a good fit for here, so it's over there instead. If that sounds interesting to you, then please check it out. I'm going to try to put an annotation somewhere on the screen right about now, but I don't actually know how that feature of this website works, so we'll see if I do it correctly or not. If I don't, it will be in the description. Okay. The longer scripted videos will still be a thing. I'm working on a new one right now, and they will still be here, so if that's all you're interested in, then you don't need to do anything at all. No changes here, please look forward to it. If you're a member of the Patreon, firstly, thank you very much. Secondly, you'll get early access to videos from both channels, so consider that a little bonus to sweeten the deal somewhat. So that's the essentials, but now if you'll indulge me, I'm going to explain why I feel the need to do this in the hopes that you'll gain a better understanding of what my goals are, and also just my body of work online in general. If you found this channel through the last handful of video essays I produced, then firstly, hi, glad to have you here. But secondly, what you might not know about me, Punchy, the person actually making these, is that I'm largely a streamer on Twitch first, and a YouTuber second. I stream on Twitch at twitch.tv/Punchy, and I've been streaming on Twitch for about 9 years or something, a figure I do not much like thinking about. And in terms of my online content, it is my main source of income and therefore my priority. Of my online content, to be clear, I do also work a normal job. It's a wonder I find the time for all of this, really. By contrast, I didn't start taking YouTube all that seriously until about a couple of years ago, and indeed, if you scroll through this channel's video history, you'll see a lot of the older ones are clearly me experimenting with formats to see what does and does not work on YouTube. Eventually, I landed on the usual video essay/pseudo-let's play format that's so popular, leveraging my ability to speak and read Japanese to showcase interesting games that people can't otherwise access. This turned out to be a pretty good angle, and by far the most successful type of videos among the stuff I was making. I began to take YouTube more seriously, I opened a Patreon, put more time into the videos, etc, etc. So that's all well and good, but it created a problem, which is that I now have what is basically two very different audiences with different expectations of what it is that I actually do. My primary output is still very much the speedrun/variety streaming. When Twitch finally relaxed their restrictions on streaming to multiple websites a while ago, I had a crack at bridging the gap somewhat by streaming to this channel, and that produced mixed results. Some people liked the YouTube streams, and if you did, I highly recommend subscribing to the second channel, because if I make a return to streaming on YouTube, that's probably where it's gonna be. But unsurprisingly, most people who subscribe to a channel because they like hour-long essays about PS1 games were not that interested in also watching speedruns every day. That's not incomprehensible to me, that's a pretty different crowd after all. Some people even went out of their way to complain at me for being live too often because it wasn't what they expected out of the channel, and okay, if you're the kind of person who does this, you are an extremely tedious loser. Like, the sheer brass to complain at someone because the free entertainment they produce isn't in the exact format you find desirable is just, God, so irritating. But nevertheless, I do see some semblance of a point in that, and did not really myself like that the styles of content didn't match, and eventually I stopped streaming on here. So, enter the second channel, which I intend to focus more on stuff that's quicker to produce, something more in line with what you'd think of when a streamer has a YouTube channel rather than what we've got going on here with the very long stuff. Somewhere where being live pretty frequently feels more natural and expected. This shouldn't take much time away from producing the main channel videos here. Part of the entire point of the second channel is that the videos should be quick to make and not take much time away, and generally ought to be more frequent, although I don't promise that. Like I said, there's a lot of things that I could make, and not all of them can reasonably take the form of hour-long essays. Plus it serves as an outlet for things like my thoughts on new releases, like with the Silent Hill 2 remake video I'm choosing to front as the channel's first video, because if I spend a month attempting to perfectly refine my thoughts into an even 30-minute video on every new interesting release I play, I will never get through everything I want to yap about. Furthermore, the YouTube algorithm notoriously hates it if you vary your content too strongly, and even on a personal level, it just feels kinda weird to upload a quick idea thrown together in a couple of days, right next to something I spent several months researching and writing. So that's the second channel, to create a stronger delineation between yapping and the stuff I actually spent a lot of time working on. That's more or less the gist of it. That's the long version. If you listened to all of that, thank you very much for your interest in the process and in me. I hope to see you over there, or here, or anywhere you like to watch my stuff, and I hope you have a nice day. Ta-ta for now.